Yeah, so today we are looking at learning difficulties in children, learning difficulties, learning disorder, learning disabilities. They are all the same phrase that can be used synonymously. You know, I remember one of the schools I was working before. I had we had a child in he joined us in primary three or thereabout. He almost couldn't read anything, but he could actually solve math like this. Those kind of children, when the teacher is solving math, before the teacher just put the question on the board, he has gotten the answer and everything. He was good at math. But when it comes to reading, writing, oh, it was a big struggle for him. The boy should be going to GSS 3 now. Funny enough, his younger sister was so good. She was really, really, really very good. By temperament, predominantly melancholic. That's the younger sister. So the first time she got to the school, she was just hanging her legs. You think, oh, she doesn't know anything, quiet girl and all of that. But when she was used to the environment, we'll see her back again. And then the brother also. But he's getting better now. As at the last time, he was already getting better. Surprisingly, he could spell impressively. Just he struggled with some words still then, but by now I know that he would have really gotten better, because by the time they brought him to the school, the school had to give him a personalized learning plan to upscale his literacy or English, his literacy, and it worked for him. So that's that about learning difficulty. Some parents, naturally, because we all want our children to be good, we just forget the fact that the boy is good at mathematics and we just attack. He's olodo, he's dull because he's falling short in literacy. Now, the truth is very many parents do not know what learning difficulty is about. Now, this is why I'm happy we are doing this today. Like I said, what we are doing is for us to learn parenting for ourselves and be able to help other parents. So I don't know if you carried out your research. I did my research extensively and I learned a whole lot of things added to what I've learned before. So I know that when I'm talking to a parent now, I'm going to be able to at least talk to them in a way that they are going to realize, okay, my child may actually have learning difficulty. Now, this is where my child is struggling. So over to you, Coach Jinadu. So share with us.
I didn't do so much research, but just a few minutes I was able to read up a few things.
Okay.
I learned that there are different ways these disabilities manifest.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in fact, it was when I was reading up, I discovered that even the handwriting of some children at times is a symptom.
Yes.
Is a symptom.
Yes, ma'am.
That was what I discovered. So we have dyslexia. Dyslexia is a language processing disorder.
Yeah.
This imparts reading, writing, and comprehension, so to say.
Yes, ma'am.
And just like the one that the example you cited.
Yes.
I think that could be a dyslexia
issue
case.
Yes.
And that is, yeah. And we also have dysgraphia.
Yes, that's the one for handwriting.
Having trouble connecting thoughts, converting your thoughts into writing and drawing, or poor handwriting may be a symptom.
Yes, ma'am.
When I saw that, my mind just, I think I told you that I wanted to work on my baby's handwriting.
Yes, ma'am.
And this holiday, he has been facing what he's just interested in coding and coding, maybe because of his brothers. So signing him up for something on coding like this, apart from maths and coding, that's what he's just interested in. Is this evening I was telling him, please be creating small time. It doesn't matter how short.
Ma, did you help him draw it? You can help him draw a structure.
So individuals with I think when he came back,
Yes, ma'am.
Part of the things I asked him to write out his goals
For the
for
week.
this holiday,
Yes.
and that was part of it. So he now himself and his daddy they drew a timetable for himself for him,
Yeah.
and in the course of that, I discovered that they
And
didn't put
it
handwriting.
doesn't matter to them. Now you they bother about them.
So so I now discovered that handwriting was not there. So I don't want it to look like I want to change what
Yes,
himself
I
and
get
daddy
you.
did. So I just told him that okay, you part of your free time, you'll be
Yes.
using it to be able to watch videos on it. Today
Yeah.
I asked him to read up
Yeah.
about it. At least what are some of those basic things that will enhance your handwriting?
Yeah.
And just like I discovered today, even the way they hold the pen is
Yes.
one major thing.
Yes.
The way they hold the pen.
Yes.
So, and the kind of pen. So I am taking that up gradually. Maybe you can, if you have any other a better way to go about it, man, I'll definitely appreciate.
Okay, man. Let's I'll
Which other
just
one? Okay,
okay. Um you've talked
I'm
about
listening, ma'am.
yes. You talk about dyslexia.
Dyslexia and dysgraphia.
Yes. Okay, the other one is dyscalculia. Hello.
Yes, dyscalculia, disability related to
Math.
mathematics.
Yes. Yes. Then we also I
Disabilities related to mathematics.
yes, ma'am. That's why very some people they struggle with math, with figures. So put figures together is is like rocket science to them. Then we have
That one no
also
fit come near my house. So maths,
yeah.
maths na our own selling
You
point
know
in
when I
my house.
actually read it further,
Everybody knows maths.
I
If you
read
don't know maths, we'll know that you are a bastard.
you know, when I read it further, I tried to find out the causes, you know, and I realized that the environmental factor is a major cause. So, which means that if, like, we also had a child in the same school, he was
Factor.
Gabriel was over 12, 13, and he had to start in primary one, then two. By the time he got up after primary, was it primary one or two? I think it was primary one. I think he did, I think a week or so, they moved into primary two. By the time he did first term or so, by the time he finished primary two or thereabout, he was moved to primary four. And I think from primary
Wow.
four, he went to JSS one. He was already 12. The thing is, he was coming from a village where he came from one remote Gabriel something. He came from one remote village where he knew he was not in school or anything. So they just sent him to the city, started living with his brother. So when I was reading about the causes, I realized the environmental factor is definitely part of it. And Gabriel was definitely the first thing that actually entered, the first person that entered my mind. Then I said, yes, Gabriel. Environmental factor may have been one of the reasons why he struggled. Even you know, when children don't have the foundation on time, they can actually struggle. Maybe you don't have the foundation early. Maybe they don't have the foundation for good math foundation or good literacy foundation. It can really make them struggle, you know. That is
Yes.
it. So yes. So I also read up a lot about it. I saw one social and communication challenge disorder, language processing disorders, central auditory.
Yes. I even watched a video like that too, man.
Okay.
That's a mother.
Yes, ma'am, listening.
Auditory processing disorder.
Yes. You said you watched a video that was
No, I just mentioned, I said
okay,
auditory processing disorder. You can
yes.
continue, man.
Okay. I got another one, non-verbal learning
Yes, I watched a
disability.
video.
Okay.
I watched a video of a woman.
Go on, go on.
What happened was that the child was not doing well in school.
Yeah.
The child was not doing well in school, And what happened was that each time it's like she has programmed that child by telling the child that she was not good at mathematics when she was in school, and
Oh,
she was saying everything, all the challenges, the way
yes.
she presented that case, she was not saying it to empower the child. She
Yes.
was saying it in such a way that ended up that the child saw maths as something that he too cannot know.
Yes, I get
So
it.
by the time the child now, it now became an issue
Yeah.
until somebody now drew our attention. I think somebody drew our attention to it that you are the cause of this. You
Yeah.
are only telling your child that you are angry that the child is not performing. But these were the things you have been telling the child.
Yeah.
And it now took a therapist to be able to work on that child, to be
Yeah.
able to help him to understand that no, he's a different person. The
Yeah.
fact that the mother was not doing well in that subject is
I
not
think,
an automatic thing that,
yeah.
that he will not be able to perform well
Yeah.
in it.
I also remember I read it. Was it one of the books
So
you read
just
last
to be able
year?
to buttress another
Yes.
point for that is calculus.
Yes, ma'am. There was one book we read
Yes,
last
ma'am.
year. I think in Park last year. There was something the author said about. He gave an example about a woman, a couple. They were taking their child to school for the first time. I know the child will be crying, and they will tell the child, "Oh, I know school can be very difficult, but mommy will come soon." That was their way of consoling the child. But the more they tell the child that school can be difficult, you can meet people you don't like, people will not like you well. The more they were saying that, the more the child was resistant to going to school. They actually thought they were helping the child to settle well in school, not knowing that they were actually, and how do I say, demoralizing the child, some of the things we do in ignorance, really. Okay. So,
Ignorantly.
yes. So, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So, we talked about, okay, I also learned about this non-verbal learning disability. I saw executive function disorder. Of course, I don't know if I've talked about it here. I think I talked about it last year a great deal. One of the things we need to do is to help our children develop their executive function skills. It puts everything together, like goal setting, organization, planning, and all of that is a major productivity skill. When your child is able to develop those personal skills, your child is just like you're telling your child, you have a vision, you have a goal, you have something you are going to. So pay attention to it every day. If we help our children develop those skills, it's a great blessing. So we also have executive function disorder. It also affects learning. We have specific learning disorders, language-based learning disabilities, memory disorders, and visual processing disorder, anxiety and learning. So what I did was actually created a material that I intend sharing in the group. However, I didn't go through all these things. What I did, I just picked the ones I know we can.
Network is fluctuating.
Oh my. Can you hear me now, ma'am? So what I did, I just picked some of the ones I know that we can relate to it, and we can definitely run with and begin to practice. So I picked on, of course, the three major ones, or is it the four major ones?
Okay.
Dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia. I picked all those ones, and I did a little expatiating on them. Then I came back to the other extra. I picked executive function disorder, and I expatiated on it a bit. And I also picked memory disorders, and I expatiated on it a bit. Okay. Hopefully. Can you hear me now?
Once.
So hopefully, when we get this material. Hello, can you hear me, please? Can you hear me, please? Oh. Can you hear me?
No, ma, we can't hear you.
Network is just doing anyhow. Can you hear me now?
Okay, it's better now.
Okay. So I was actually sharing what I did like this.
Let's thank God for tonight. It's better, it's fair.
Okay, ma'am. So I was saying I was talking about all I am. Coach David is trying to join us. Quasido, she's been trying to join us, and I think network at her place is just not finding it funny. Can you hear me, ma? Network has been so good to us. Okay, ma'am. Like I was saying, can you hear me? If you can hear me, please let me know you can hear me.
Hello, ma.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Okay. We can hear you now.
Okay, network is
Yes,
just, network has not been funny at all. So I was saying that
since 2 days.
yes, the learning disability or learning disorder is a whole lot. So what I did was to create a material that we all are going back to look at. It will help us to guide us, because I talked about executive function skills. I don't know if you were listening when I was talking about executive function skills and disorder, rather
Yes.
memory disorders and all of
Yes.
that. So I've created a material where I put all of them together. Then in the material I share the characteristics, I share the you see the remedies, now the solutions. So I looked at courses. I actually talked about the environmental part of the courses a great deal, because I know that when it's genetics, there's almost nothing we can do about fixing genetic issues. Then of course they say another course is brain differences. Everyone brain is wired differently, so that is one of the reasons. And another reason is environmental factors. So that is the part we have control over. We don't have control over genetic, we don't have control over the brain wiring, we have control over environmental factors. So in case maybe you are talking to a parent, you let them know that the environmental factor is where they have control over. So the material contains how many items? I think about 9 items. Okay, 7 items. I think I reduced it to 7 items. The control, how the environment actually works against the child learning ability, resulting to learning difficulty. So what we are going to do then, I also talked about the remedies and the support, talking about special learning plan, talking about teaching methods, talking about practice and patience. So for the learning plan, I had to also expatiate on the learning plan. So if we have a specific learning plan to tailored towards helping a particular child, it will be helpful. So whether we have our children who are struggling or who have these learning disabilities, or we have parents who have children who are struggling and we need to actually help them, we can have practical support to use, practical tools to use. Then of course, okay, this is where I have a more about learning plan. I talked about learning plan, how it works. You assess the child, you set goals, you create time, you create space for accommodations and modifications. You can hire a specialized service, you monitor your progress, you collaborate with people around, and then you do periodic review. So I also talked about learning style, talking about this material is actually part of my book. I just kind of took some part of my book and developed it for this project, for this class. Then I also talked about learning methods that we can use for children with special learning abilities or disabilities. Talking about visual, auditory, talking about kinesthetic, talking about multi-sensory, individualized instructions, interactive technology. Hello, ma'am.
We can hear you, ma.
Okay. So I also talked about, so I went further to also expatiate on executive function disorder, how we can work on that, because that is skills, it's physical skills, it's practical skills, like helping them understand structured routine, visual support, task breakdown, prioritization, goal setting, alarm and reminders, and all of that. So I also created that, and I just want to wrap it up. Then I will share in the group. Hopefully, we can actually take our time. It's not going to be a big one. It's just like about 12 pages. And when I say 12 pages, they are like 12 scanty pages. It's not like choked pages. So we can easily go through them and learn one or two things and take our notes down. And then if we don't have struggling children, we have children, parents who always, we have parents, one or two parents who have struggling children, we can always be able to readily say, okay, this is, we may not be professional, we may not be therapists or experts at helping your child, but we can actually proffer reasonable solutions before you see a professional. So that's basically what I'll be sharing. Oh, we have someone waiting. You came late, ma'am. We are almost wrapping up. In fact, we have wrapped up already. So you are just the late comer. Okay.
In for the grace.
Yes, that is it. Grace. Okay, ma'am. So that's basically it. We are talking about learning difficulties in children today. That's the topic for today. And Coach Jinadu started explaining to us, or she read up about it, and I also added what I read up and what I've put together. I put a material together we can use to support our children. And I'd like us to go through the material, take it seriously. Afterwards, we'll come back and talk about it. Anything you see there that kind of, should I say relate, that you can relate with, or that kind of strikes your attention, you can note it. You do further research on it. Google is there to help us. YouTube is there to help us. You go there. AI is there to help us. You go there, you research further, then you learn further, then we'll come back. If you are still confused, you ask questions and we'll talk about it. Remember, we are learning and growing together. We are learning parenting for ourselves. Okay, so I'm done talking.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, ma'am. So any other thing, anyone contribution? Coach David is out. Network keeps taking her in and out.
Network, yes.
Yes. Coach Ukeme, you are owing me. Oh, I hope you know that, ma.
Yes, ma, I know.
You take your topic. Choose your topic and date. Oh, before I will come, I can fight. Oh, I can fight. You know, both of us are not big together, so we'll just fight. We'll just fight. Eh? All right, thank you so much, man.
We will fight.
We go fight.
Never chop.
You go chop. If you not get back to me soon now, we will just fight. We will just fight. Then we see we'll win safe. All right, thank you so much, ma. Thank you, Coach Jinadu, for coming, always. I appreciate you so much, ma. I appreciate you. Coach Ukeme, thank you so much for coming too. Thank you. All right, now, so we can continue in the WhatsApp group.
Church have closed.
Yes, now, since 8:30.
Since 8:30.
I was in another meeting.
Oh, I can imagine.
I was in a planning meeting.
Okay, I hope I can actually have this put together and put in my, maybe tomorrow I'll gather it together and just put in my WhatsApp group. And I'll put in the YouTube channel, then you can go and do the, what is it called? The replay, you know?
Catch up.
You can do the replay. And yes, you can catch up. Yes. All right. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night, everybody.